So now I have a formal occasion to welcome you to the workshop, Mellon workshop on early modern jewelries. The idea of the workshop emerged during numerous conversations at various conferences with colleagues working on early modern Jewish history, during which we all voiced a number of frustrations. The frustrations touched both on research and on teaching. First was that there hasn't been any forum that would bring us all together, all of us who work on the same period but in different geographic areas of early modern Jewish history, or those of us who work on the fringes of the medieval or modern periods. Another source of frustration were the emerging questions concerning the integration of Jewish history into general history, early modern history, and vice versa. And as for the pedagogical frustrations, they were focused on the difficulty to teach this period here in the United States for lack of primary sources accessible in English, and in Israel for lack of access to primary sources that are not originally in Hebrew. Bernard Cooperman of University of Maryland, Ted Fram of Ben Gurion University, and Adam Teller of Haifa University and I began to brainstorm on how to bring us all together to begin cross-regional conversations and create a space not only for our own growth, but also for that of our students. In the midst of our conversations, the Mellon Foundation provided a wonderful opportunity, a grant to a consortium of schools, Amherst, Grinnell, Oberlin, Pomona, Reed, Smith, Wesleyan, and Williams, providing funds to support workshops designed and organized by the faculty on scholarly and pedagogical topics. To achieve both goals, the scholarly and the pedagogical, we chose the format of a workshop seminar rather than a typical conference in which we have prepared text that will serve our discussions here and that after the workshop will serve our students and our colleagues teaching this period. We sought to bring together world-renowned scholars, and all of you are sitting here in this room, engaged in the field in order to discuss from a comparative perspective the issues that are pertinent to this area of studies in our current research and in the future. We hope that this will be the first of annual international workshops, bringing together a diverse group of first-class experts in the field that will result in an impressive and equally diverse database of annotated texts on early modern Jewish history. These texts, many now inaccessible or available in languages not shared by all, after being translated and equipped with annotations and questions emerging from the proceedings of the workshop, now, as you all know, temporary on a temporary website, will then be put online on a multimedia website and thereby become a permanent resource for students and teachers in the field. We have even registered a domain name, and I hope you will like it. You can write it down. It's www.earlymodern.org. We hope that the workshop format with primary text at its center will result in vigorous discussions and will encourage active collaboration and cross-pollination of ideas. We hope that this Mellon-funded workshop will ultimately not only have a long-term impact on our research, but also on our teaching of this subject. I would like to thank the Mellon Foundation for its support of this project and the grant committee for awarding us funds for this particular workshop. I would also like to thank Judith Brown, the Vice President of Academic Affairs at Wesleyan University, Paula Lawson, the Provost, and Brian Fay, the Dean of Division II, for their support of this project. I would also like to thank the Louis L. Kaplan Chair of Jewish History at the University of Maryland and the Certificate for Israel and Jewish Studies here at Wesleyan for additional financial support. I would also like to thank the ITS department at Wesleyan University for its enthusiastic support, technology ideas related to this project and its future, and in particular, big thanks to Mike Royal and really special thanks to Manolis Kaparakis for his untiring support, help that went often beyond information technology. I would also like to thank 3 other members of the organizing committee, Bernard Cooperman, Ted Fram, and Adam Teller, for their ideas. And I have special thanks for Ted Fram, who could not escape from my planning concerns when I was in Beersheba during my sabbatical. 2 of my students also deserve thanks. Tal Be'eri, who, under supervision of Manolis Kaparakis, helped to digitize many of the texts, and Anna Pinkert, who is currently working on the designing of the website for the www.earlymodern.org. And the 3, Louis, Brad, and Jonathan, who will be operating the cameras for the whole duration of the workshop. Now, please join me in welcoming Professor Ronnie Shah, our first speaker. Professor Shah, as many of you know, is the Edwin Earl Sparks Professor of History and Religious Studies at Penn State University. He's an expert on early modern Europe, especially in social, cultural, and religious history, and his particular interest lies in the connections between early modern Europe and the world. He has received many honors and awards, including the Guggenheim and also the National Endowment for the Humanities grants, and he is the author of a number of books, including Social Discipline and the Reformation, The Myth of the Ritual Murder, and Trent 1475. Most recently, he co-authored The Making of the West, Peoples and Cultures, published in 2001, and co-edited Calvinist Hegemony and Religious Toleration in the Dutch Golden Age that appeared in 2002 by Cambridge University Press. Today, he will speak to us about Jewish history and world history in the early modern age. I would like to thank Professor Shah for coming and for agreeing to provide us also with his remarks during our final session, the roundtable discussion on the early modern period in Jewish history. So please join me now in welcoming Professor Shah.